Hey everybody, and welcome back to Three Gorillas Entertainment. I am Samuel Torna, and I am back again with the My 30 Day World Challenge. Um, so again, this is a challenge put out there by the AbTab people in conjunction with their newest project, their newest Kickstarter for A Dead Man's Guide to Dragon Grin. Go check it out, super cool, right? So this is day 10. Finally, I'm catching up. So with the challenge. And day 10 is which is the most feared and reviled faction in your world? My world being Thermia. So there's a lot of factions. There's a lot of guilds, a lot of organizations in Thermia. A lot of them good, a lot of them bad. Picking which one is the most feared and reviled or most feared is very difficult, I think at least. Like take Euphemios for example. It's a country nation run entirely by guilds. I think it's called the corporatocracy, corporatocracy, where the entire government is run. The lawmakers are corporations, guild masters in this case. And there's a lot of shady people, a lot of shady people, a lot of very shady organizations running the shows there. So I would say there are factions like the Mafia, Boss Sugamatsu, which is an exiled Concordian who runs a very elaborate, extensive mafia, mainly in New Thermia. That's a very feared faction. The Red Hand Guild, which is basically a mercenary group who takes on any job as long as it pays well. And normally that's not a terrible thing, but they have a tendency for taking very dirty jobs, wet work, taking people out. It's so yeah, they're kind of reviled. They're not looked very highly upon. But if I had to pick one for me as being the most feared, I would say the Equilibrium, which is a group that is not well known. It's a secret organization in Thermia that's only very elite and important people know about. The Equilibrium is a group of individuals dedicated to the idea of maintaining balance in Thermia. They believe that things have been out of balance for far too long, and that the world is at a point where it could tip and go back to the dark times once again. And they do what they believe is necessary to basically keep it from happening. They have a vast network of I'm blanking on the term. A vast network of intelligence agents positioned in many important locations and corporations and organizations and governments, collecting information and giving it back to the founding members, who then decide what to do, what action needs to be taken, and then they basically assign a task to one of their emissaries, one of the emissaries of balance, which are 6 individuals trained from childhood to be able to accomplish any task, and they each have a title, and they go. And they're dedicated to certain realms. The Saint and the Merciless, they're 2 individuals that are adept at single person assassination. This is actually turning out to be a very in-depth analysis about a certain organization, but I don't get to talk about them very much, so I'll just keep going. 2 more of them. The Answer is their diviner, another super useful source of information gathering. The Wake and the Beast are two of them dedicated to taking out. The Beast is dedicated to taking out large groups of individuals. The Wake is dedicated to taking out small cities if necessary, wiping them off the map. And then finally the Sage, who is only called for the biggest of missions, taking out armies if he has to, keeping wars from happening, doing major events. So those are the 6 emissaries of the balance. And the organization, again, is called the Equilibrium. Feared for the sheer firepower they have at their disposal and their willingness to employ it. They don't come into play very often, but if they do, they will mess your shit up. And I love them. I love every one of them. So yeah, hopefully this gives you a little bit more insight into the famous and feared organizations in my world. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that, and everybody have a great night.